Yeah, good morning, Cindy, and good morning, colleagues. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Let me just start the presentation, and I will just do a highlight on the prediction of the June, July, August, and the September for 2024, and also mention what is the likelihood effect in terms of negative impacts and also the positive impact on the June, July, August, and also September month. Before that, I would like also to remind the the staff about that majorly in Kenya we have two main seasons, that is March, April, May, the long rain season, and also we have the short rain season, that is October, November, December. Then in between there, the month of January and February is traditionally hot and dry months, while the June, July, August, these are the cold months in Kenya. And the month of September usually acts like a transitional period between the cold season and also before the onset of the short rain season. Now we are heading to a period of June, July, August, and also the month of September. Having said that, I would like also to remind you that last year, remember how the rainfall behaved in the month of March, April, May, and also don't forget what happened during the El Nino phenomena, that is OND of last year. And in the month of January and February, some parts of the country received occasional rainfall. And the month of March, April, May, already we have seen that most part of the country experienced heavy rainfall. So factor in from all of the information from last year and up to where we are at the moment. Then from there, we can be able to project what is likely to be affected in terms of the amount of the rainfall. And also remember from the traditional calendar of our country is that when the farmers, for example, from the Western region, usually do their planting season is in between the month of March, and also for the late one is the first week of the month of April, and also the harvesting season is during the month of August and also September. But also it depends on the type of the farming which they are doing. While for the Southeast Lowland counties more so, the larger part of the Ukambani, they usually depend so much on the short rain season, whereby they usually plant very short and area mature crops, whereby they usually do their harvesting during the hot and the dry months. That is the month of January and also February. So we need also to remember different regions in Kenya, they usually practice different types of farming. From Western region, sometimes they usually have one period of planting, while other counties usually practice two types of the planting within a year. Having said that, there's this latest climate forecast from the regional that is about the 11 countries. And during the June, July, August, and September, this is the main rain season for the Sudan, South Sudan, and also Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. But for Tanzania and also Kenya, during June, July, August, and September is not the main rain season. But from this prediction, of course, I will explain on the next slide only on the what is expected. And also from the right, we have the temperature predictions. You can be able to see that most of the eastern part of our country is predicted to be warmer, and also even the entire of our country is predicted to be warmer than average. And also remember that going forward, because of the influence of the climate change, the warmer our atmosphere is, or the warmer the ocean is, the more intensive hazards or disasters we are likely to encounter. So having said that, from this prediction of the rainfall in terms of the disaster risk management either sector, we are likely to see that the western region, that is West Kenya, Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley itself, and some parts of highland east of the Rift Valley, and also northwest counties, those are the counties of Turkana, West Pokot, and some parts of Samburu, are predicted to experience above average rainfall. Remember, during this season, this is not the rain season, but from these predictions, we are likely to have above average rainfall. Factoring in this information and where we are coming from, that is March, April, May, these regions already have been experiencing those rainfall. And also even during the month of January and February, there were reports of the occasional rainfall. And also last year, October, November, December, these regions were also wet. So based on this, we are likely to see some isolated cases of the flash floods because of that probability of the rainfall which is predicted over those counties which already have mentioned, which might lead again to some of the isolated cases of the landslide and also the mudslides. Remember, of course, I've mentioned some Rift Valley counties still are inside these brackets. And also for the displacement of some communities, there is high chances because of this rainfall. For example, if you see the West Pokot County, there is high chances of 70 probability of receiving above rainfall, and also some parts of Turkana. So there is high chances again during the cold season that we are likely to see some isolated cases of the displacement of the communities. Also, even some schools might be affected, and also some roads. For example, for the Turkana County, when we experience this amount of the rainfall with this probability, some roads might be affected. At the same time, the communities might also encounter the losses because of the destruction of their livelihood. Again, we are likely to see some acceleration of some outbreak of diseases. Factor in that from the temperature wise, we are likely to have above a warmer atmosphere. On top of that, then include some rainfall on top of this. If you put the two factors in, sometimes they usually create a conducive environment. For example, for the multiplication of the malaria outbreak from the mosquitoes, because there is availability of some water on the surface of some materials, and also the temperatures is relatively warmer as compared. So we are likely to see such cases of the outbreak of the diseases. For the Lake Victoria counties, that is Migori, Homa Bay County, Kisumu County, and also we have the Vihiga County, about four counties from the lake. You can be able to see from the Lake Victoria Basin, there is high chances that this region will continue receiving the rainfall. From the Ugandan side, again, it's predicted to receive some rainfall, and also some parts of Rwanda County, of the Rwanda as a country. This means that from the Lake Victoria Basin, we are likely to see again a slight increase of the water levels from the lake, which again will affect the communities which already have mentioned from the Busia. We have the Vihiga, we have Kisumu County, Homa Bay County. because we are likely to have near normal to above average rainfall. And also for the Lake Turkana, we are again likely to see an increase of the water levels from the lake, because you can be able to see from the upper catchment, that is from the border of West Pokot and Trans Nzoia. There's a prediction of the rainfall. And also, this is the catchment. The Rift Valley is the catchment for the Lake Turkana. So we are again likely to see the communities from Turkana County, and also the other side of the lake, that is the Marsabit, to be affected because of the rising of the water levels from those lakes. Again, for the coastal strip of Kenya, that is from Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi, we have Tana River, some parts of Tana River, and the Lamu County. From this prediction, we are likely to see above average rainfall predicted over the coastal strip of the Kenya. For the negative impacts, we might experience isolated flash floods, because remember, there's a system of the monsoon winds which usually passes through here. If there is any system in the Indian Ocean, these guys might be affected. That is from the negative side of the heavy rainfall, which already might lead to some of the displacement of the communities and also the loss of the livelihood. But in terms of the positive side, this amount of the rainfall which is predicted here, I think about 15 miles from the coastal, that is the boundary between the land and the ocean, I think the farmers can benefit in terms of maybe having a good harvest of some food like cassava and millet and sorghum, and also even maize. So we have to look on the both scenario, whereby either we are talking about a positive, and also at the same time we need also to factor in the negative impacts. Again, for the western region, that's West Kenya, Lake Victoria, Northwest Rift Valley, and some parts of Highland east of the Rift Valley, because of that amount of the rainfall which is predicted, also it will be very conducive environment, for example, for the availability of the pasture for the animals, and also even some improvement of the livelihood. For example, the farmers will be able to harvest their crops. But if the rainfall is predicted to be too much, then we are likely to see some farmers incur the losses because of too much water, which will affect either post harvesting and also even the maturing of some agricultural which does not need too much water. So I've mentioned about the probability of the outbreak of the diseases because of the rainfall is predicted over some part of the country, and also the conducive, the warmer atmosphere which we are predicted. So it can facilitate the multiplication of the outbreak of some of the pests, which again might affect our farmers. And in terms of the locust outbreak, even if we can have some locust from our neighboring countries, the effect of the locust will be felt during the October, November, December, because during that period is when we have the winds have changed the direction from north to south, but not during this period. During this period, we have the winds from southern hemisphere going to the north. That means that it will not allow the desert locust to move either from Somalia or from Saudi Arabia, which is just here, from these deserts. So we need also to keep monitoring how the weather patterns are going to behave. And also the acceleration of the desert outbreak is, for example, when we have good conducive environment for example, for the Somalia. Remember, Somalia, most of the parts of Somalia is just like a desert. But if we have good amount of the rainfall in these regions, it will facilitate the the multiplication of the desert locust, which will affect our communities probably during the short rain period of October, November, December. In terms of the wash and also the water and also energy factor, remember that in March, April, May, we have been experiencing heavy rainfall over most part of the countries. And also you saw that most of the rivers were into the full capacity, and also the dams, various dams across the country. Going forward, we are likely to see a slight reduction in terms of the water levels in most of the rivers, but that does not mean that the rivers are going to dry. So the information is that we are likely to see a slight reduction of the water levels for the Seven Fork, the catchment areas. Those are the dams which are being managed by the Kenyans, but the stream flow is expected to continue. For example, there is the main river which is coming from the Ethiopians. These regions will continue receiving some rainfall, so we are likely to see the continuous flow of the water from those rivers which usually passes the Mandela County. So if the communities from this region can utilize that available waters, I think they can benefit in terms of from the positive side of that. In summary, these are some of the advisories which we are likely to either to pass across, that we need to continue to encourage our communities in terms of the conservations of the available water, so that at least they can use this water during this cold season, more so over these counties like Southeast Lowland counties, including Taita Taveta, Kajiado, because we are not expected to have some rainfall, but since we have the available waters which are passing through their counties, then they can maximize that. And also remember, if you are a pastoralist or you are a farmer, so we need also to encourage our farmers and the pastoralists to harvest as much as possible, such as like hay and also the crop waste for the animal feeding. So those are the things which we need to take advantage of it, because we don't know what will happen during the short rain seasons. If it's going to fail, and we have taken a good advantage of the available resources, then we can be able to respond effectively. And also, I've also put here that carefully use the available water resources, promote conservation of excess pasture and also the water during this period. And also we need to start now somehow a soft talk about the awareness of the probability of the desert outbreak and also transboundary pest. These are some of the appearance of some of the pests which sometimes usually passes from several countries, and also it can also pass through our countries, and also it might affect us as the nation. Having said that, let us have a quick look on the rainfall. For today, that is Friday and Saturday, we are likely to see an increase of the amount of the rainfall over the western, that is the West Kenya region. West Pokot, it is predicted to experience, by the way, very heavy rainfall. And also the West Kenya, the Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley itself. There's a decrease of the rainfall over the highland east of the Rift Valley. Those are Mount Kenya regions, and also Nairobi County, and the remaining parts of the country is predicted to experience dry, wetter conditions. Even from the ocean is now quiet in terms of the rainfall, but still we have those monsoon winds. On Saturday and Sunday, the rainfall is predicted to increase over the Highland East, including Nairobi County, as compared from today. Again, from the western regions, still we have those persistent convective lanes. Next week, going to next week, we are likely to see a drastic reduction in terms of the rainfall over several parts of the country. And also Tuesday, Wednesday, up to Thursday, still a reduction of the rainfall. However, there are some light rainfall over Marsabit County. This is good for these guys because they are the pastoralists, and also it can also facilitate the availability of the pasture with this amount of the rainfall. In summary, the 7-day accumulative rainfall, we are likely to see heavy rainfall over the West Kenya, Lake Victoria, Rift Valley counties, Port Highland West and also Port Highland East of the Rift Valley, including Nairobi County and some parts of Southeast Lowland counties, which are predicted to have some light rainfall. But the Kajiado and the Narok, some parts of Kajiado and the Narok are predicted to experience those heavy rainfall. I think I can stop there. If there is any question, I will respond. Back to you, the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Zachary. Any reactions towards the presentation? Any reactions? Colleagues online? Okay, if there is no any reactions, then we can go to, yeah, there's someone. Oh, January, yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Zachary, for the presentation. I did not get it quite clear about the locust infestation that was cited some parts of Garissa. I remember you indicating that they might not get into most parts of the country because of the winds. Would you kindly maybe give some information? I did not get it clear.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's okay, January's, because already we have started seeing some reports from some counties more so over the northern part of the country about the appearance of the locust. Remember, this locust, the name itself is known as the desert locust. They usually originate from the desert countries like from the Saudi Arabia and also some parts of the Somalia. That is the Middle East. And if the climate is conducive, is when those desert locusts start now migrating from those desert, that is from the Middle East regions, into our regions. During this period of the time, the winds are moving from the southern hemisphere going upwards. That means even if we have some reports of some locusts over some northern part of the country, those locusts will not move downwards because of the flow of the wind. Remember, those locusts, they usually depend the winds as a means of movement. So the winds are going upwards. It means that if the locusts are on the northern part of the country, mostly it might be moving northwards. But remember, during the October, from the beginning of October, the winds will change now direction and start moving from the northern part. Remember, this is the Middle East. And also this is the Eritrea and Djibouti, and we have Somalia here. If the winds are now going to move from where the locust is, those winds will facilitate the movement of the locust into our regions. And if the locust will arrive in Kenya, there are some counties which will be affected more so over the northern part of the country and also the eastern part of the country, but the locust will not reach the western region of our country, because from here we have what we call the Congo air mass winds, which usually move from in this direction. That's how, even if you go to the park of the 2018, those locusts were just around here, and also there were some locusts who were able to reach even Taita Taveta and also some parts of Tanzania because of that flow of the winds. But we are lucky for the western regions, the locusts will not affect because of that flow of the winds known as from the Congo air mass. So once we approach the short rain season, that is from the September, let's say from the month of September is the transitional period from the cold season and the onset of the short rain seasons. Then from there, we will have a clear picture that where, if there is outbreak of the desert locust, where they have reached and the counties which are likely to be affected of the locust. Back to you, the Januaries.
Thank you, Zachary. That is noted.